to walk you guys through the materials. Like always, I just go through a bunch of my scrap yarns, grab whatever I can find, and see if I can make something out of it. So that's another, this is one of those projects where I just don't know what I'm doing, but we're still gonna go through it. Hopefully it's gonna be a success. I actually started yesterday, which means I have something done, few small, just a little tiny piece done. Again, the goal is to get myself a yellow and white set. So this is going to be a bralette and a bikini. We're making something secure. I did decide to use white and yellow because I have one ball of the whites, two ball of the white, sorry, and then one of the yellow. That's the only way I can get this, and I can easily go back and find white. This yellow I'm not too sure, but the white will definitely be available if I run out and want to go to the store. So we are going to go ahead and make a slip knot and chain a total of 78 chains. So this is what my 48 chain is. So this is the length of the bralette, which is basically from your armpit area to your underbust or wherever you want the bralette to stop. Mine is about 10 to 12. It stretches all the way to 12 inches. And from here on, we are going to start the half double crochet stitch. So you're going to chain one and you're going to go into the second chain with the half double crochet. And right after, you're going to go with half double crochet, sorry, and from there on you're going to repeat one half double crochet into every chain until you get to the very end of the row. To make sure you finished your row with your one half double crochet into every stitch. Do not skip a stitch, because if you do, you're going to have your bralette shorter compared to where you want it to be. So for the second row, you're going to chain one and turn. And this time around, we're going to repeat half double crochet, but then in the back loop. So these, each stitch actually have two loops. So you have the front loop and then you have the back loop. And we are going to go into the back loop only with the half double crochet stitches. So I'm just going to go into each back loop with one half double crochet until I get to the very end of the row. So right here, I just finished my second row. I'm going to go ahead and change the color to white. I'm doing 2 rows of yellow and 3 rows of white. The reason is because I have a lot more white compared to the yellow, so I'm just playing around just to make sure I have enough for the entire piece. So I'm gonna show you guys how you can go ahead and switch your color. So you're going to cut off the yarn and you're going to just grab the yarn with your crochet hook, which automatically gives you a chain, so you don't have to chain anything for the beginning of this row. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn, and I usually just grab this excess yarn from the previous row, and then I'm going to go over the yarn with my few stitches, just so I don't have to do this when I'm done and I don't have to sew in all the loose ends. So I'm just going to grab the yellow, make sure that goes underneath, and I'm going to go again into the back loop with one half double crochet until I get to the very end of the row. So basically one half double crochet up until the very end of the row, and this is what I'm going to repeat until I have the half of my bust measurement. So I'm going to make sure this back panel is the half of my bust measurement. So I'm going to show you guys how you can go ahead and take the measurement for this pattern. So I'm just repeating. I am actually, like I said, I'm doing 2 rows of the yellow, 3 rows of the white, 2 of the yellow, 3 rows of the white, because I have more white compared to yellow. Again, I'm just going to balance everything so I don't have to go yarn shopping, and I can just use the one that I have at the moment. So but you don't have to do this. You can use one color if you want to. I actually made one in a cotton yarn. This is acrylic yarn, by the way. I did make one in a cotton yarn, which turned out so beautiful as well. So this is like my second pair. So I'm just going to repeat this until I have the half of my bust measurement. In my case, I think it's going to be about 30 inches, because again, I'm not going to wear this with a bra, which means I want to make it super tight so it can fit and support my ladies very well. So you're just going to divide your bust measurement into two and make sure this back panel is as wide as that measurement. So I'm just going to repeat this until I have mine as wide, and I'll see you guys when I have that complete. So guys, right here I have my back panel complete. We are going to reattach the yarn on the opposite side. So we're basically working the front panel on the back panel, but you're just going to just make this the half of your measurement. So you can see that mine is about 14 and a half, but it stretches all the way to, again, like I mentioned, I want this to be super supportive, so I'm making it as tight as I can actually. So I did deduct a huge amount from my actual bust measurement, because that's the only way it can actually fit me perfectly. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go for my waist measurement instead, right, in the unstretched form. So right here you can see that's 14, so my waist is 28 inches. So when I eventually put this on, it's going to fit my waist, but at the same time it's going to stretch and fit my bust area. I hope you guys understand what I mean. But this is my back panel. I did a total of 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 42 rows. I did a total of 42 rows. So this is going to be different for everyone. All I would suggest is this amount of rows you're going to do for the back panel has to be correct, because the same rows you did, which in my case is 42, I'm going to do another set of 42 rows for the front panel. But the only difference is we are going to do a little bit of increasing and decreasing for the front panel, just so we can have a nice shaped bralette. So we are going to start the increase row. Again, like I said, the amount of rows you do for the back panel is going to be the same amount of rows that you have next to do. Mine is 42, which means I'm going to do 42 more rows. And because we are doing two sides, obviously we are going to divide the amount of rows that we have to do into two. So which 42 divided by 2 is going to be 21, which means I have to do 21 rows, and then I'm going to repeat the same 21 rows, but then in the opposite way, which you guys will understand what I mean. So now we are going to start row 43 in this case, which is going to be row 1 with an increase row. So I'm going to grab the white because that's my next color, and I'm going to just turn, and because we are increasing, we are going to go into the first stitch, but I'm going to grab the yellow because I like to just go over that with my stitches so I don't have to do this. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the first double crochet with 2 double crochets, half double crochet, sorry. So going into that first stitch with 2 half double crochets automatically does the increasing for this first row, for this next row. So you're going to just now repeat 1 half double crochet into every stitch across. But then keep in mind that we are only increasing on one side of the panel. So this is going to be our increase side, while this is going to be the bottom side of the bralette. So this is going to be just a plain with no increasing or decreasing. So I'm just going to repeat 1 half double crochet like I mentioned all the way to the very end. And when I get to the end, I'm going to chain 1 and come all the way up to the opposite side again with 1 half double crochet, and I'll see you guys when I'm at the end of row 2 in this case, which is the same as row 44. So coming to the top, I am just going to grab the white string that I've left, because I usually just like going above that with my stitches, so I don't have to do this at the end. So I'm just going to work my last few stitches into the last few of the double crochet stitch all the way to the very top. Remember, we are increasing at this edge at the side of the panel, so you want to still make sure you go into that last increase you did and do not skip any stitch, because if you do, then you just reduced the stitches instead of increasing the stitches. So right there I just did the last. I'm going to go into that same last stitch again with an extra double crochet, which gives me my second increase pattern. So I'm going to grab a stitch marker. If you're a beginner, then I'll suggest you do so you can know where your first stitch is, so you can be able to go into that first stitch again with 2 double crochets. From here on, I'm going to chain 1, turn, and taking this off just so I can start the row, and I'm going to go into that very first with 2 double crochets, grab the stitch marker and insert that into the first stitch again, and repeat 1 double crochet into every half double crochet. Sorry guys, sorry, I'm so sorry. 1 half double crochet into every half double crochet from the previous row all the way to the very end. So guys, the increase and decrease pattern is quite basic. So what you're going to do is you're going to divide the amount of rows you have for your back panel. Like I mentioned, mine is 42. You're going to divide that amount by 2, because now we are going to we're still going to work on a total of 42 rows, but then this time around, because we're increasing and decreasing, you have to make sure you divide the amount by 2. I would suggest you make sure you end off your back panel with an even number, so when you divide that you get the same number, right? Which is going to just make everything easy. So you're going to divide that by 2. We're dividing the 42 by 2, which gives you 21, so which means we have 21 on this side and 21 on this side as well. And then the 21 we are going to divide by 3, which I'm going to explain why we're doing that, because we are doing increasing, decreasing and normal row, right? So we're going to increase, we're decreasing, and then we're going to have a normal row. Hope that makes sense. Increasing, decreasing, a normal row, right? So the amount of rows you increase are the same amount of rows you're going to decrease, and that's the same amount of rows you're going to just do normal rows. So which means 21 divided by 3 will give you a total of 7, if I'm right. 7, right? So you're going to increase for 7, decrease for 7, and do 7 rows with no increasing and no decreasing. What I mean, but hopefully that was clear. So whatever you do on this side, you're going to do on this side, but then you're going on the opposite end. And because you decreased and then did a normal row, you're going to then start normal row, increase and decrease. Hey guys, so I just finished the increase row. I did, again, like I said, I divided the 21 by 3, which gives me 7, so which means I have to increase for 7 rows. So I started right there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so I have my 7 rows complete. But because I'm doing 3 rows for the white yarn, means I still have my yarn attached, so we are going to go straight into the decrease row. And again, remember, you are only decreasing on one side and increasing on the same side. So this side has no decreasing or increasing, so I'm just going to just chain 1 and make my way up with 1 half double crochet into every stitch. So that is my first decrease pattern. That is my first decrease row. So for the second row, because I already have my 3 rows of white, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the yellow. So I'm just going to grab the yellow yarn, and I'm just going to make sure I have the yarn on the crochet hook just with a loop, and going to turn this around. So for the decrease, we are not chaining anything because this is a second decrease row, and whenever you're decreasing, you don't have to chain anything. But then if you're increasing, you want to make sure you chain, and if you're doing a normal row, you want to make sure you chain, right? So for the decreasing, you're going to again skip this first stitch because that is going to be the decrease, and you're going to go into the second stitch with a half double crochet instead. Grab your stitch marker and mark that very first stitch so it will be easy for you to find when you get back to that point. So from here on, I'm just going to repeat 1 half double crochet into every stitch up until the very end of the row. So right here I'm coming to the top for my next decrease. I think this is my third row of decrease. Remember, we're doing 7. I'm just going to make my way up until that very last stitch. Find my way around. So right there are my last 2 stitches. I'm just going to take off the stitch markers so I can identify them well, and I'm going to decrease it to, again, you're going to go into the second to last stitch. You have 3 loops. You're going to go into the next stitch, pull through. You have 4 loops. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and that is your second decrease. So because I have my 2 rows of yellow, I'm going to cut off and switch back to the white. So I'm going to do this for a total of 4 rows. So I have my 7th decrease complete. I'm going to come back and show you guys what the next step is, but for now this is what it looks like. You can see the increase and the decreasing going on right there. So increase, decrease, increase, decrease. So I just finished my 7th row of decrease. So we are now going to do the 7 rows of no increasing and no decreasing. So if you look, let me just see if I can fold this. Right there we have 7 rows of increase, 7 rows of decrease, and now we are going to do an additional 7 rows of no increasing and no decreasing. At this point, after your decreasing, you should have the same amount that you add for the back panel. So remember what we chained a total of 78, so you should have a total of 78 after we crochet stitches now. And now you're just going to again chain 1, because now we are not going to increase or decrease, and then we are going to insert 1 double crochet into every stitch up until the very end of the row. You're going to do this for a total of 7 rows, still switching back to your yellow and your white color pattern that you decide to go for, and I'll see you guys when I have that complete. An update: I finished the increase, the decrease, the 7 rows, and the 7 rows again. You're going to divide we divided the number into 3. So I already finished the increase, decrease of 7 rows and 7 rows of no increasing and no decreasing, and did an additional 7 rows because now we are going to do the opposite side, because whatever you do on this side you're going to do on this other side to balance everything. So now I just finished my additional 7 rows of no increase and no decreasing, which means right from there I'm going to increase and then I'm going to decrease again for 7 rows. So increasing for 7 rows and decreasing for 7 rows will automatically balance the opposite side of the panel. So I'm going to repeat that, and then when it's complete I'm going to come back and we can do the straps and then put this on. If we need to add an elastic band on the edge of it, then we will. If we don't have to, then we don't have to. Hey guys, so I just finished the 7 rows, additional 14 rows, which is 7 rows of increase and 7 rows of decrease. So now I'm going to just reattach this to, I'm going to attach these two with a single crochet row, and that is honestly it. Now we have a tube, and I'm going to cut off all this excess yarn that I have going on. So for single crochet, to attach this, I'm just going to go into that very first stitch. So to attach this, I'm just going to go into this first stitch on the opposite side of the panel, and I'm going to do that with a slip stitch. You can use a single crochet. I think that's what I'm going to use instead. So I'm going to go into the next stitch, on the opposite panel, yarn over, pull through, chain 1 and pull through, just single crochet stitch, and I'm going to do that until I get to the very top. The bralette to the opposite side, so the seam is currently inside, and now we are going to go ahead and do the strap. So you can decide how you want your strap to be. If you want it to be something you can just tie at the back, or you want it to be an exact fit so you can actually fit the back perfectly. I think I'm going to make mine a tie-up thing so I can have more support, and for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this space in between the increase and the decrease stitch. So right there we have an increase, and then we have a decrease in there with the crochet hook, and that is where I'm going to make a knot and make a long chain. and I'm going to go ahead and do extra knot just so I have my stitches secure. So now I'm just going to make a super long chain. I usually just chain 150 for this type of designs. Again, I'm still using the 3mm for this method, so I'm just going to chain 150. My 150 chain. What I'm going to do is just go into that second chain with a half double crochet and repeat 1 half double crochet until I get to the very end. Guys, this is what the strap is about. When I get to the end, I'm just going to cut off, repeat the same thing. So I'm going to reattach the yarn right in between this increase and decrease as well, and chain 150 and go back into the chain with a half double crochet stitch until I get to the very beginning. And I'm going to do both of the strap, and I'll see you guys when I have that complete. Hey guys, so this is what we have going on now. You can tell that this fits, but I don't like the fitting of it. This is what it looks like on the back. So I'm going to attach an elastic band so I can have this to actually be a bralette and a top. But you don't have to do this if you have this fitted around your waist area, but because there is still a gap, I am going to go ahead and attach an elastic band. So again, the straps go to the back, and I think with these 2 straps you can do so much with it. You can style it however you want to, but this is what it looks like so far. I love the color combo. I cannot wait to finish the bikini, the bikini bottom, and then maybe I'll do a cover up as well, but we'll see. But for now, this is what it looks like. So let's go to the table, and then we are going to attach an elastic band to the side of the bralette. So this is the band that I will be using. I'm just going to make sure this is my waist measurement in the unstretched form. So you're just going to put this across your waist and take the measurement, or you can also just use your measurement tape for that. So with your measurement tape, you're just going to take the measurement, you want to again make sure that this measurement is your waist measurement in the stretch form actually, and not the unstretched form. So mine is going to be about 28 inches. So I'm just going to cut this off. And in your waist measurement, I mean like your on the bust measurement in this case instead of your waist. So you're going to make sure this fits around your on the bust when you stretch it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make a knot. So right there I have my knot. I'm just going to grab the yarn. I'm just going to grab the yarn and I'm going to go through the band and into the piece with single crochet stitches. Again, I always make sure that the band is at the back of every project that I work on. So I'm just going to go with the crochet hook into one of the stitches, go underneath the elastic band. I'm still using the yellow for this, and I'm just going to grab the yarn and make a knot through the elastic and the piece. And then of course you can just go ahead and make another knot just to make sure it's secure. And from here on, I'm just going to go into that same available space, grab the yarn and pull through so I can have the yarn on the crochet hook. And from here on, you're just going to go into the next available space, go underneath the elastic band. Your crochet hook has to go underneath the elastic band, grab the yarn, pull through the band, yarn over and pull through again. So you're going to go into the next available space, go underneath the elastic band with the crochet hook, grab the yarn, pull through. Now you have 2 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Again, go into the next available space, go underneath the elastic band as well, grab the yarn, yarn over and pull through. And this is what you're going to repeat all around the band and the piece itself. And then if you finish the band, you're just going to stretch it, because obviously it stretches, and make sure that every stitch go into the band, into the stitch, into the piece, sorry, and underneath the band all around until you get to the very beginning where you started. Like that. Hey guys, so this is the final look. I'm just going to cut off the excess yarn and then the excess elastic band as well, because I won't have need for that. And you can see that the band automatically makes this smaller, which means it's gonna fit right underneath my bust area, which is the look that I'm going for. So again, like I mentioned, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is definitely optional. You can leave it just the way it was, but again, I wanted mine to fit me, so this is what it looks like. This is the final look. Let me know what you guys think. This is super simple. Look forward to the bikini bottom, because that's what I will be making next, because again, like I said, I wanted this to be a set, so I'm looking forward to what I'll eventually get done. And I'll see you guys in my next video.